Watch and listen carefully.
How about another joke, Murray?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
What do you get
I don't think so.
when you cross
I think
a
we're
mentally
done with
ill
your
loner
jokes.
with
That's
a
it.
society that abandons him and treats him like trash?
What makes this scene so tense? Is it just the acting and the camera work? No, it's the sound. But why is this sound so important and how it affects our senses? I worked in sound, movies and podcasts for a long time, and I want to answer that question. Focusing on the primary roles of sound design can create an immersive and engaging experience. It can transport the audience to another world and make them feel part of the story. Think of Avatar or Dune.
Come here, kneel.
How the sound creates the entire world for us to immerse ourselves in. That's even more important in video games, where we step in and live in these worlds. Think of Horizon Forbidden West, Hogwarts Legacy, Baldur's Gate. These worlds are full of sounds that provide clues and information for the players. But it's not just world building. Tension is another role where sound can take the reins. Sound can build anticipation and create a sense of danger or dread. Think of the Scorsese movie The Irishman. Now, this mafia epic has long scenes without music,
You're saying something.
where soft sound design creates suspense. We all know something will happen. The sound gives clues about that. But it's also about the tone of a film.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
The soundscape can create a sense of atmosphere and mood. It establishes the genre. In the example of The Irishman, it's the crime, the gangster world that the sounds help to build. It can be subtle, like in Scorsese movie, or more bombastic, like in the John Wick films with over-the-top action. In video games, sound adds another layer of complexity. It helps to communicate information to players and move the story forward. In action games like Tomb Raider or God of War, sound effects indicate when an enemy is approaching. When we are low on health. Or it's as simple as feedback. We opened the chest, we picked up the item, opened the doors, or completed the quest. And sound can do all of that. So, how can we use the sound in storytelling? What are the best tricks? When we tell stories with sound, the brain will imagine the rest. But there are also different types of sound effects commonly used to build tension. Low-frequency sounds are often used in horror movies and video games to create a sense of dread. Now, these sounds are below the range of human hearing, but can still be felt in the body. This can create unease and make people feel like something is wrong, even if they can't see it. It's easier to use low-frequency sounds in cinema, as only some people have 5.1 set up at home with a subwoofer to play back these sounds. So, watching films like Dune on a laptop or your phone will lose much of the impact. Now, some believe that low-frequency or infrasound can cause various physical and psychological effects, including headaches, nausea and anxiety, and even hallucinations and panic attacks. However, there is no scientific evidence to support these claims. I think it's more psychological than physical, because these low-frequency rumbles make us feel alarmed. That's also because low-frequency sound is omnidirectional, so we cannot pinpoint where it's coming from. When it happens, the terror is everywhere, vibrating through our bodies. Now, filmmakers can use it to create unsettling scenes for the viewers. But as I mentioned, you need a sound system to replicate that. Music is obviously important when we talk about creating worlds with sound. However, rather than focusing on a big thematic score like Indiana Jones, Think of musical effects that make the scenes more effective. We have slow-moving rhythms that go faster and faster and build into crescendo. Think of Jaws, of course, or a cliché high-pitched violin that signifies something terrible is about to happen.
I don't feel so good.
There is a sound out of place.
Playing with pitch can give us a variety of tools we can explore.
Then we have timbre, the texture of sound, so often explored by Hans Zimmer in his movies, especially in the latest Dune. Then, the rhythms create the tension in action-packed films. Or car movies like Fast and Furious. A sudden break in a theme.
Did you miss me, Richie?
In a melody without a proper ending can signify that something is not right and we must watch out. Music often plays together or against sound design. And in recent movie trends, it's moving towards the former. The lines are blurring, the big themes are giving way to a signature sound, and the border between the score and the sound is harder to spot. Now, some say Hans Zimmer started it all. Agree or disagree? Listen to the latest films and check for yourself. The other way of using sounds in storytelling is the absence of it. Silence. When there is no sound, it can make people feel more aware of their surroundings and more likely to be startled. This can create a sense of suspense and tension. Scorsese uses a lot of this technique in his movies. Quiet Place, which obviously is a movie about staying silent, he uses a lot of that. And it's not just about removing the sound, it's about the contrast. The scene is silent, and then we introduce soft sounds, maybe footsteps, the creak of a door, a heartbeat. The space between the total silence and the sound is what is effective in storytelling. And again, I focus on movies because it's the easiest, but listen to good public speakers, how they use pauses, pitch, rhythm, and the timbre of their voices to make the message more powerful. No additional sound effects are needed, just the voice and the techniques. Creating good stories with sound takes work. For sure we can fall into the cliché techniques, but it's only when we dig deeper and analyze our favorite films, games and TV shows that we see how much subtlety, thought and creativity goes into crafting these tales. Removing the sound is way more powerful than layering more on top of it, even though the initial thought is always to use the biggest tools we got.
There is a moment.
Less is more, and silence can be much louder than a non-stop, over-the-top fight in Transformers. The contrast grabs and moves us, and the best storytellers know how to use it.